Today is the day. It's the super full moon or full super moon, which I don't know which way is the way to say it, in Scorpio. And I'm back, like I said I would be yesterday, to have a little intuitive discussion because it's always intuition over everything, right? And I felt the need to come back today. So here I am, still in the midst of my tea making for orders that I have from my Etsy. Thank you so much for your tea orders, by the way, on the Etsy. I'm loving the patronage of my shop, Plant Force Field, over on Etsy. Be sure to check me out there. I have a new shipment of products that I'm actually going to be receiving today for some new products that I will be adding to my tea line. So be on the lookout for that. They will all be, so far, everything that I'm working on is specific to the fibroids category as far as my teas go, but I will be expanding into blends and products for other ailments. Blood pressure, I have stuff for that I will be releasing. Just as a side note, diabetes for sure, eczema. And if you have any requests, you can get at me because I am an herbalist. So just a little side note for ways that you can connect with me on the herbs. But I'm here to talk to you today about the full moon today in Scorpio. And also give you a little bit of a timely discussion into how it relates to shrinking fibroids naturally, your success at achieving natural fibroid freedom, and boosting your fertility, as well as manifesting, because everything starts and ends as women, as goddesses, as members and carriers of the womb. Everything begins and ends in our womb space, whether we know it or not. So I'm here to touch on that a little bit more. We're also building from yesterday's discussion. So if you didn't catch the live stream yesterday, be sure to go back and watch that because we're building on that. And I will be doing that actually definitely throughout the week, to keep it relevant to the time that we're in. And by what I mean by that is, the full moon as it comes in, the energies build. So, the energy has been kind of building up from 3 days, maybe even 5 days prior, and will, be at its peak today, if you will, since it's the actual day and time on the calendar of the full moon. But then it'll also be tapering off as even as late as 3 to 5 days after. So we have that time window to really see maximum benefits to any work that we're doing, to harness the power of the full moon, if you will, or even activate the energies that can be enhanced if we do the proper is not the right word, but any work really to connect to the moon. It's based on your intention. So, you'll see a lot of people discuss full and new moons in terms of specific um, actions, ceremonies, rituals that you should be doing and that everybody should do. And they're all going to sound the same because the general guideline is new moon is the time to create and bring forth new, and the full moon is the time to release and purge. So you will be hearing from different schools of thought, practitioners, people's activities and action plans that they will be putting together will loosely be based around those actions, putting energy into action around those, purging on the full moon, creating and bringing new things to life around the new moon. But you can go deeper with these celestial occurrences and moon phases based on your intention. It's all based on you. So don't feel like you're stuck or have to be exactly like, by whatever the book says. So I'm saying that because as somebody who was able to naturally shrink uterine fibroids, I learned more about my connection to my womb and my connection to the earth and the realm that we're in on my healing journey. I learned that I wasn't giving that any attention, and that is something where that is a place where I was dropping the ball. So I'm going to make it, part of my platform, and I want to talk a little bit about that as well, to open up that as a healing tool to the goddesses that this resonates with and that come into contact with my work and my platform. So I want to kind of make it relevant and timely to women who have uterine fibroids, and not just have fibroids, but are on their natural fibroid healing journeys, really, because we want to be specific and we want to be intentional always. So it's deeper than just, hey, if you have fibroids, you want to do this. If you have fibroids and you're healing yourself of fibroids, you're serious. You're not just being coming from a reactionary standpoint and a victim mindset. You've moved past that, and now you are putting in work and action. Small, I know I'm just playing around with my hair, but it's all over the place. Even small, intuitive action can make big changes in your womb health and in your fertility when it relates to uterine fibroids, because fibroids are a sign that there are deeper conversations and deeper exchanges of dialogue that need to be had with self on a more intricate level, even subconscious level, that we need to be doing that we've been leaving out. We've been not giving attention to because we haven't been prioritizing ourselves. So, doing little things like we're going to talk about today and the rest of the week, and also in my goddess membership that I've just opened up, Womb Hang Clan, it's going to be supporting goddesses who this resonates with, that realize that they need to do that deeper work. Because, your success with shrinking fibroids, nobody can do this for you. You know, nobody can do any of this for you. And this is actually harder than making the smoothies. This is harder than taking the herbs. Because for me, anyway, it was. I know some of us are like super intuitive, and I'm a fire sign, if you don't already know. Not that that really means anything, but I'm super into my fire sign energy for the most part. I don't feel like I am, before I learned about my mind to womb connection and learned about who I was and why I had fibroids and succeeded with getting rid of them, I hadn't really taken time to learn about my softer, more quiet, more intuitive side. So, this is a new thing for me. So, you may already be really well acquainted and equipped with talk about the moons, and, conversations with yourself, your higher self, your womb, but I was not, sis. So, I'm speaking to you. If you already have it, great. Like, I salute you. I am totally like, hey, my heart is like going out to you, because it was not easy for me. And I'm going over it that way because if you've never, done this type of a thing, which is shrink fibroids naturally, this may be new to you as well. So I want to invite you to marinate on a couple of tips that I really truly believe will help you flip the scale to just having fibroids, to starting to see healing, to starting to tip and have more healing energy happening rather than just kind of existing with fibroids, by adding some mindset energy work into your routine. And this week, with the full moon, we're invited to focus on things that we need to purge. We already know that. As somebody with uterine fibroids that is healing fibroids naturally, I want to personalize it a little bit further for you. And I want to invite you to think about, you can even be journaling. You may want to do it now and ask some questions. You can even share them in the comments, because I did tell some of you, if you wanted to take notes on some of the emotions that you were having and things you may feel like you want to let go, to share them in the comments. Hey, Lady Bloom, water sign Scorpio. I'm so excited about the Scorpio supermoon. Me too, sis. Powerful. Yeah, you're a water sign, so you already know. And this is totally like this is your comfortable place, right? So if you have any input to share with us fire signs that are very into our masculine energy, feel free to share. But it is definitely powerful. And you're a Scorpio too. So, yes, sis, you got this. This is your energy. But think about, and I was thinking about this for myself, right? So I just came off of my moon time. Saturday, I think, was the last day, right? So leading up to, prior to the moon time, I had a little bit of, have you ever been walking around and doing your day-to-day activities and there's nothing that you know of going on, but you're like, why do I have a little bit of like anxiousness in my belly? I have like this excitability that I'm walking around with holding energetically, and I don't know why. I felt like within the last 2 weeks, I definitely experienced maybe 3 to 5 days consecutively where there were times where where I was like, why am I like anxious, but not in a, it's like butterflies, but I didn't know why I was having butterflies. Now that feeling has gone now, and I'm off of my moon time as well. So it's like, what was that all about? Because it was interesting to note. It didn't hurt or anything, but it was definitely like, I felt like it was kind of annoying, a little bit uncomfortable. Like there was some form of inertia going on, where I was enough for me to say, I don't feel like this is a normal state of equilibrium that I'm normally in. And that happens when you're a creator, when you're somebody who is really, I believe, doing what you're supposed to be doing, which is bringing your ideas to life, taking risks, doing things that make you uncomfortable. Those things are going to happen. But for me, what I noticed is they usually happen when I'm in the act of creating or sharing my gifts and talents or bringing whatever product I had to market in that moment. It doesn't just happen like when I'm waking up and having tea in the morning, or when I'm walking my dog up the street, or when I'm in the kitchen washing dishes. It was kind of like that. There was this presence of this feeling like something was kind of feeling like there was a inertia, an excitable feeling, like, but then you're like, ugh, it's kind of weird. So I'm throwing that out there as a personal example in a moment of transparency. And it's important to be transparent, by the way, because when you reveal things, they're more easily healed. The more you remove books out of the library, the more you're able to check in new volumes, higher volumes of information, the more you release and share that information. So keep that in mind as well. That's something that you will know more about the more you give your opportunity to see natural healing and holistic lifestyle through. It's important to be candid and transparent about information that you're holding into your body, into your aura, into your psyche. You don't have to share everything, but the more you share, the more you put out, the more and higher capacity you have to hold and attract, take in new information, new truths, new miraculous thoughts and gifts that, you will feel came out of your head, but really it's just your connection to the collective and to the Most High, the Creator Source. It's one of the universal laws. So anyway, what emotions, if any, have you been experiencing in the last week to 2 weeks? If you stay with that question and whatever immediately comes up, and if you need 5 to 10 minutes, sit with it. Go deeper. If you can't think of anything concretely, then just say, hey, was there a time when I was pissed off in the last 2 weeks? Did somebody get on my last nerve? Maybe not intentionally. Maybe somebody on Facebook got on your nerves. Maybe it was something you read. Maybe it was someone's facial expression. Maybe it was someone's lipstick color. Think about it. Maybe were you really sad in some way? Did you, have a moment where you just felt immediate, like crying? Other questions you could be asking and journaling about in this time. What are you resisting? Is there something that you are resistant to, toward, in your life, in your business? A conversation, perhaps? Is there a meeting that you are avoiding? Avoiding is a great topic to sit with and just ask yourself, is there a situation that you may be avoiding, or somebody, a confrontation that you have been avoiding that, comes to mind? These are things for you to journal on and get specific about. If so, what is the specific situation that relates to these emotions that I'm throwing out? It may not be anything from the present moment, your present life. It could be from a different chapter of your life, right? So maybe you could be remember a time when you felt really sad, but it's connected to a memory or an experience you had during childhood. Or I can't ever listen to the opening credits of this show because it reminds me of when my aunt, blah, 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 and I saw. These are the things where you want to dialogue and see what comes up and go to these levels of depth for yourself. And these are just prompts for you, because everybody will have different, sentences and different situations and answers to these questions. But if you can tap into the emotions that you've been experiencing, any and all of them, over the last 2 weeks, because we're talking about specific to this full moon, the super full moon, what has been being presented to us that has been building up and coming up as the full moon energy has been building to the peak time today. There are clues of information there, and those emotional triggers that we've been having, that we may be experiencing now, the lingering emotions of things that we are being called to let go, to purge. If you have fibroids, and these are what we're talking about is negative emotions, and negative personality traits, because it may not even be like an emotional thing. It could be, we need to keep it real with ourselves, right? So it could be that, you have a problem with other women. Why do you have a problem with other women? Why? These are personality traits that you're called at this time to be real with yourself about. Yes, what do we need to release? So true. Right. And thank you, Lady Bloom, for commenting. For fibroids, though, so like, what is a fibroid? This is how we personalize it. So it's like, if we have fibroids, we know that fibroids grow in our creative control center, your womb space, where we hold our babies, where we, fuse life force energy together to make the most precious creations in this realm. Our offspring, life gets imparted into our wombs, from sperm in the process of creation and conception. And we grow these beautiful babies. But if we have fibroids in there, that's some creative energy that's gone haywire. So what are we not creating in our waking lives? Where are we not showing up creatively, personal to us? I'm a singer-songwriter. I'm kind of an actress. I don't really like acting as much as I like singing, but I guess that's part of my personality. But are you showing up as a fully actualized creative artist, or expressing yourself creatively to the fullest in whatever your respective medium, art form is? Because if you are not, if you're dropping the ball, if you're leaving out parts of yourself that are authentic to who you are and what you're here to do and what feeds your passion, what is like therapy to you, that energy is going in and turning into fibroids. Your body is creating something. It's like, well, I'm a creator, but we ain't creating, so I'm going to create. You get it? That's kind of what I'm saying. Lady Bloom, I've struggled with learning by failing. I like that. Let me go back to that comment. I'm struggling with learning by failing. I was successful for so long. That's the failure is hitting. Oh, okay. Do you mean like fear of failure? Or learning from your mistakes? Or is it a combination of both? Like you're too prideful to want to risk failing? Is that what you mean? Let me know, Lady Bloom. That's a big one. Fear of failure is a big one. But in that is the magic. If you didn't hear my live yesterday, I talked a little bit about that. I think it was yesterday's live. I think it was one of the last two lives. I talked about my acting class experience back when I used to live in New York, and I was terrified and I was getting eaten alive by my acting coach. Actual failure, dealing with it and learning from it. So it seems to me, Lady Bloom, that you know that there's something to learn from the failure, right? So it can't be bad. So why, if that's what you're saying, do you seem to be overly focused on the fact that there was a failure? It's temporary, and nothing is really a failure if you see it in the way that you should, and that it's something to learn and help you grow and evolve into bigger and better, and you go back and do it next time because you already learned what you needed when you made the first mistake. So when you go back the next time, it's mastered. you know that's kind of how it works. And also the failure and the falling on your face and the mistakes and all that type of stuff is where we start talking about the comfort zones. And you see those phrases where they say, the success happens outside of your comfort zone. So it's like, if you're doing something, you're taking these risks, you're doing the work necessary, and you end up failing, you end up stumbling, falling flat on your face, at least you got it over with. you know at least now, okay, it's not so bad. I'm still alive. And I can go back now and not do what I did before. And I've learned and I can do better. See, don't stop at the failure. It's an illusion. You have to get back up and go back and do it harder the next time. And also, I would ask you, what about that perceived failure now, because it's your own perception, is stopping you from getting back up and trying again? What's making you stop at failure and focusing on the failure? Why not just say, okay, that sucked. I sucked at that time, but I'm going to get back up and I'm going to go do it. Do you think it's because of judgment, or you're going to get laughed at from others? What is that? That in there, your answer is the hack to what's been holding you back because of feeling the fear of failure. Share your answer if you care to share, Goddess. But these are, and I love that you're sharing this now, because this is a time where you can pull the layers back on stuff like this. You can journal about that, Lady Bloom, and anybody else with anything they're struggling with. And it's these little discussions